Well, here we are, the end of the Gospel of Mark. A wonderful story, just so simply and succinctly told and wonderfully applied, calling us to discipleship to the Messiah, the Son of God. So today we read Mark 16, and when you read Mark 16, you probably notice something interesting, and that is that verses 9 to 20 are in brackets, with an editor's note that reads something like this one from the NIV. The earliest manuscripts and some other ancient witnesses do not have verses 9 to 20. What's going on here? Well, for a number of reasons, scholars don't believe that this was an original part of Mark's intended words. Firstly, as we just read, this section's not in the earliest manuscripts, which are often seen as the most trustworthy and reliable because they are closer to the date of the occurrences, right? So that's one reason. Another reason is that it uses Greek words that are uncommon in Mark. It speaks in ways that Mark doesn't normally speak. And so why is it here at all then? Well, ultimately they've decided to cautiously put it in by putting it in brackets or italics or however it is in your version, because there are some early manuscripts with it, but a lot of later ones have it. And there's actually also evidence that many of the early church leaders knew these verses as well. The ESV commentary puts it nicely. It says this: as in many translations, the editors of the ESV have placed this section within brackets, showing their doubts as to whether it was originally part of what Mark wrote, but also recognizing its long history of acceptance by many in the church. Now, what I find really cool about this, and similar, and the similar situation in the Gospel of John with a woman caught in adultery, is that we get an insight into the integrity of those who have translated and compiled the ancient manuscripts into our English translations, right? Anytime they come to something that they have doubts over, they let us know. They've got nothing to hide. They're not just sliding dubious things in there. They've done their homework and they're making sure what they give us is legitimate. And it also means that unless something has great historical authority and authenticity, it's been left out altogether. Even the things with the tiniest bit of doubt, they'll put in brackets. Anything that is clouded in doubt, they leave out because it has no historical evidence, it has no historical backing, and so they don't put it in the Bible for us. I like this because it shows that these scholars are serious about maintaining the integrity of these historical texts. And for me, it's little things like this that are a good reminder that the Bible I read today in my native language of English is reliable and trustworthy and has been put together and translated by historians and scholars who hold to the highest levels of integrity. And all that being said then, what do we make of the ending we do have? If we cut it off at the end of verse 8, it's a bit of a strange ending, isn't it? The women arrive at the tomb, they find it empty, as Jesus had predicted many, many times in the Gospel of Mark, and then we're instructed by an angel to go and tell the disciples. Then verse 8 says this, the final verse in Mark: trembling and bewildered, the women went out and fled from the tomb. They said nothing to anyone because they were afraid. The end. No resurrection appearances, no great commission or ascension, just some astonished women unsure what to make of this incredible news. What is happening? Well, some people think that the ending has been lost. Others think that Mark didn't get a chance to finish the gospel. But what is more likely is that this is intentional. You see, the whole Gospel of Mark is focused on this strange and world-changing claim that Jesus, this peasant carpenter who was crucified, is actually the Son of God. And we see all throughout the Gospel that people don't get it, and it ends in the same way. Many scholars believe that Mark leaves us with no closure on purpose. He is drawing us into the story. He's leaving us with our jaws dropped at the entrance to the tomb, faced with the same choice as the historical characters in the gospel. Will we see this as too good to be true? A silly story maybe? Or will we recognize him as our crucified and resurrected Lord and go about sharing the good news? Because the other three Gospels tell us that the women, although they were silent here, didn't stay silent for long. They went and told the disciples, and they told some people, 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 and so on and so on and so on, until this world-changing message reached your ears and changed your life. And so are you on board? Is he your Saviour and King? Then run and tell the world.